Well, fireworks at Isotopes Park and the Freedom 4th celebration at Balloon Fiesta Park lit up the night sky in Albuquerque, and they came off without a hitch as far as we know.
All right, but Mother Nature simply would not be upstaged by the pyrotechnics. Look at this. She put on quite the lightning show, which often eclipsed the fireworks. I think so, making for an active and delightful night sky on our nation's birthday. And now, despite the drought, the wildfires, the warnings from the governor, the mayor, and all of us, the Albuquerque Fire Department still got slammed again this year with calls reporting illegal fireworks. Now, we're not sure exactly how many calls they got, but the fire department's dispatch crew, we know, worked around the clock last night. Very busy night. The department's community emergency response team helped man the phones. The first calls started coming in about 7 o'clock last night. Then about 10 o'clock, things really kicked into high gear. These incoming calls are passed on to dispatchers who send out the trucks. The department had about 200 firefighters in the field on this 4th, counting on basically all of us to heed those warnings about fireworks.
They know how dry it is, and the fires that we've experienced, the tragedy in Arizona, coupled with our weather, a lack of rain, the awareness is high.
Now, just by 10 o'clock last night, we know AFD had fielded more than 250 calls, which was on track with last year. Patrols will be out looking all this weekend for fireworks that are illegal. Remember, they are the ones that shoot up or out. Happening now at 5:32, firefighters continue to battle that silver fire down in the Gila, which continues to burn and rip through that forest.
Yeah, the good news is that the fire is now 78% contained, but not before growing to more than 138,000 acres. The rising humidity is helping firefighters battle the Jaroso fire that is burning in the Pecos wilderness. The 11,000-acre blaze is not contained. It's burning in a rugged territory that has prevented crews from directly attacking the flames on the ground.
All right, good news now. Firefighters in Arizona have that wildfire near Prescott 80% contained this morning. That fire, known as the Yarnell Hill fire, is the same fire that probably killed 19 firefighters earlier this week. Their deaths still under investigation right now for specifics. The flames also destroyed more than 100 homes, and they have burned about 13 square miles. People living in Yarnell still have not been allowed to go back to their homes. And the grief for the fallen fighters is not only being felt in Arizona, but it's also being felt here in New Mexico.
Yeah, some of the more memorable images that have emerged of that special hotshot crew were taken by a New Mexico photographer. News 13's Amanda Goodman reports.
It's just a random occurrence that I got placed with these guys.
Random and more than a year later, fateful. On assignment for Wired.com, photographer Jacob Schiller spent a day with the Granite Mountain hotshot crew last summer as they battled the Whitewater Baldy complex fire in southeast New Mexico.
I definitely think the word elite, which is what everybody's been using to describe these guys, is accurate.
Schiller learned about the tragedy involving a hotshot crew Sunday night, but it wasn't until Monday morning that he learned who the 19 firefighters that perished in the Arizona fire were.
I had emails in my inbox from all kinds of national media outlets, the Weather Channel, CBS, ABC.
They were all after these.
I mean, these are the 5 guys who I photographed who we know died.
Hundreds of photos of the hotshots in their element on the front lines of a wildfire.
There's a certain confidence in him. You know, he's just doing his job.
Schiller says the guys were good sports, allowing him free range to a safe degree to get the shots he needed, even going along with a special request.
I had each guy stand up and I took his portrait and I had him take his sunglasses off, and you know, the guys were all giving him a hard time.
These are just some of the images that have now been seen around the world. Images Schiller saw in a new way after hearing the news.
When I looked at the photos again that morning, I noticed things I hadn't noticed before, like I noticed wedding rings.
As the investigation into how these highly skilled and trained wildland firefighters died moves forward, Schiller, like many others, is trying to understand how something like this could happen.
These guys were so safe and so confident and so well trained, and they never pushed it the day I was there.
In the absence of answers, Schiller says he hopes the families will find a little bit of comfort in the memory of the men captured in his photos.
I'm honored that these photos will sort of be how these guys are remembered, and I think that that's something, that I'll always keep with me.
Amanda Goodman, KRQE News 13.
Schiller says he will be sending some of the photos to Prescott, Arizona for a memorial being held for the men. Meanwhile, Governor Susana Martinez has ordered flags to be flown at half-staff until sundown this evening. Helping news this morning, there could be some real fireworks on Capitol Hill if lawmakers do not do something about the interest rate of student loans when they get back from the 4th of July holiday.
I think it's really unfair for students to be in this place where they can't even bet on the next 3 years, or they can't even bet that they'll be able to finish their college degree and still be able to afford rent after they graduate, let alone even finding a job in their desired profession.
Well, Brianna Miller there works 2 jobs to put herself through college and says the interest rate increase adds $1,300 to her long-term debt. Subsidized Stafford loans could stay at 6.8%, double what they were last week, unless Congress keeps its promise to restore the lower rates. Anthony Polino worries the new interest rate will harm veterans because they may not even consider college.
What are they facing that $2,600 would make such a difference?
They're already having transitional struggles. I'm concerned as an advocate that a lot of our students will be discouraged, even if it's just a little bit. It would be discouraged enough for them to walk away and say this might not be the best plan then.
Supporters want to roll back the rate before college students start signing loan documents this fall. The Senate is working on a compromise bill.